Sorry for the delay. Just OBS is. I've tried everything to stabilize the bitrate of OBS and still having problems, but I think I've finally managed to fix it by setting OBS to have a more variable bitrate. I've set the target bitrate to be a bit lower than what I usually have, and the maximum bitrate to be just under the recommended maximum bitrate for Twitch. So far, the stream seems stable enough. Let's just hope it stays that way. Anyway, I'm playing Dispatch again. You know, Jim Lee, a famous comic book artist who is now president of DC Comics, has admitted he's looked at manga and has wondered what the Western comic book industry is missing. One thing he noted was there's a lot more variety in manga. I think DC have kind of learned that with their revival of the Vertigo imprint to allow publishers to publish comic books that they own through DC. Well, looking through people discussing the various problems of the Western comic book industry, I think the biggest problem is that it's mostly dominated by DC and Marvel, and that all other comic books, especially non-licensed creator-owned comics, are very obscure. So I think the creators of creator-owned comics need to ask themselves what they need to do to make their comics as mainstream as manga. Well, to give them a start, I personally recommend Image Comics for a variety of creator-owned comics with a variety of genres. If you don't know, that was a publisher set up in the 90s by a bunch of comic book artists who were doing freelance work for Marvel and eventually became dissatisfied with the nature of freelance work, so they formed their own publisher, and that then became one of the biggest publishers of creator-owned comics in the world. There's plenty of titles to choose from there, but if that's too much for you to decide from, then I'd recommend dipping your toes in Heavy Metal Magazine. That's an anthology magazine of various short comics.